Hello. This teaching is about the gap that's in between Genesis 1 and Genesis 2. Now, we can safely assume if it's in the Bible that there's a reason it's in the Bible, okay? And the reason is the gap is the test that happened before all mankind had to take their test. And that was the test of the sons of God. The sons of God had a test. Okay, and that was in Genesis 1. We see that the sons of God are also called man, because God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So verse 27 says, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God created him, male and female created he them. Okay, and God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. Now when God blessed man, he actually filled man with his presence. Okay, and in Acts, we can see in Acts 3:26 it says, unto you first God, having raised up his son Jesus, sent him to bless you. Okay, that means to be filled with God. Okay, that means to be, when Paul said, I travail in birth until Christ be formed in you. Okay, Jesus has to be formed in us every day. The more that we take up our cross and follow Jesus, or the more that we suffer with him, we will reign with him. So God is saying that we have to be filled with him in order to be sons of God. Because Lucifer lost the standing of when he rebelled against God and took a third of the angels. He knew God. He was in the very presence of God, but yet he rebelled against God. He was filled with God, but what happened is he rejected the blessing of God and decided that he wanted to be God and rule over mankind. So Lucifer lost his standing with God, and God had to reinstate man. So God created man as sons of God, as angels, as cherub, and then as stars. The Bible even says stars of God. Okay, and that's in Revelation 12. We can see where Lucifer rebelled against God, and it says, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head, and his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered to devour her child as soon as it was born. Okay? So in other words, there was a rebellion in heaven, and Lucifer drew a third of the angels, or the cherubs, which don't have wings. Angels don't have wings. And so he drew them away. And that's why mankind had to be tested in Genesis 2. Okay? Genesis 1 was the creation, the created. Okay? And so we can see that God created us first, and then we had to be formed, as it says in Genesis 2:7. And the Lord formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Okay, man, it's already done. He's already been created. Man became a living soul. Okay, so he had to be tested. And so God breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. Okay, so we all have, when we're blessed, we have the breath of life in us. Okay, so Job 4:18 tells us why we had to be tested. Behold, he puts no trust in his servants, and his angels he charged with folly. Verse 19 says, how much less of them that dwell in houses of clays, whose foundation is in the dust, which are crushed before a moth. In Isaiah 14:12, we can see that Lucifer fell from heaven. In Isaiah 14:12 it says, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How," is in parentheses, "art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nation." Verse 13 says, "For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God." There you go. The angels of God, the men, they're men, that's creations. The created beings were called man, the stars of God. "I will sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north." Now this is still on earth. It's the Garden of Eden. Verse 14 says, "I will ascend above the heights of the clouds." Now we don't see Garden of Eden as being heights of clouds, but there's a portal where earth and heaven connect. Okay, "I will be like the Most High." Verse 15 says, "Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, considering thee." And then saying is in parentheses, saying is, this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake the kingdoms of God, the kingdoms. God calls Lucifer a man. God's creation before he was formed into dirt, the dirt body, could not be redeemed. Lucifer drew 1/3 of the stars, which were angels, with him when he rebelled against God. That's Revelation 12:4. The two men at the tomb of Jesus were angels. This was in Luke 24:4. "And it came to pass, as they were much perplexed thereabout, two men stood by them in shining garments." Okay? In Isaiah 43:7 it says, "Everyone that is called by my name, for I have created him for my glory. I have formed him, yea, I have made him." Cherubims are not cherubs. These are two different creations, two different creatures. You will not find the term cherubim in the King James Bible, because they are a four-sided creature that can never be single. They will always be an S on the end of cherubims. They're plural. This was a test that God set before man to test to see if he would discover the names of the creation of God, which is called man. Until you understand this test, you can't go on to the next test. God created in Genesis 1:27, and then God formed the creation that had already been created for the test in Genesis 2:7. Okay. The amazing thing about God is he uses different names for different situations, different things. So if we study, we can find out that God, when Jesus had his quickening body, and when he had to die to get to heaven, okay? Because it says it's appointed once for man to die and then the judgment. So in 1 Corinthians 15:47, it tells us the resurrected body that Jesus received was the quickening spirit body. This was the sons of God being redeemed by Jesus. Jesus became an angel when he died with a body that could eat and drink, as it says in Luke 24:42. Jesus ate and drank with his glorified body. And Genesis 1:27, we can see that man was created. This means he was also an angel. We can then go to Genesis 2:7 to see that the spirit of man was formed to be tested. Adam was created first and then put in a body that would die if he sinned, and God knew he was going to sin. Okay, Genesis 2:7 says, "And the Lord formed man out of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And man became a living soul." Okay. Isaiah 43:1 says, But now thus saith the Lord that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel, fear not, for I have called thee by my name. Thou art mine." Zechariah 12:1 gives us another good description. The burden of the word of the Lord, which stretcheth forth the heavens, and layeth the foundation of the earth, and formeth the spirit of man within him. And formeth the spirit of man within him. That's amazing. Okay, God's saying He took the quickened spirit and He formed it in the dirt. And He forms us now in our mother's womb. He created us. We put it, as soon as we get in our mother's womb, we have been created before then, and then we are formed in our mother's womb. Okay, Genesis 2:7. Man was created and then formed. Lucifer was created cherub, or man or angel, but he was not formed. Lucifer was never formed. Job 4:18 tells us that this is why we're having our test. So we can see that the beast that stand before the throne of God, if we look at Ezekiel, they have wings. They're called cherubims. They have wings, but there's four critters in one entity. Okay, it's a spiritual critter, but he's a spirit. He's been created to guard the throne of God. He has the face of a man, the face of a lion on the right side, and then he has the face of an ox on the left side, and then he also has the face of an eagle. So he has the face of a man, the face of a lion, the face of an ox or a calf, and then the face of an eagle. And this is in Ezekiel 1:10. And then you see the same description in Revelation 4:7. The first beast was like a lion. The second beast was like a calf. The third beast had the face of a man. The fourth beast like a flying eagle. Okay? So we have to realize that these are the ones with the wings that guard the throne of God. And so angels do not have wings. Cherubs do not have wings. So we can't confuse a cherubims with a cherub, because cherubims is plural. There's no singular cherubim. They're always plural. There's always going to be four of them together guarding the throne of God, because they are one entity, but they're considered plural, not single. So I hope that this has helped you, and I really believe that if you will get in the Bible yourself and study, you'll understand that there is a gap. Now, God created the world in 6 days, and on the 7th day He rested. And it's very important that we keep the commandments, because God has told us to. And the 7th day is blessed and it's sanctified. So that's an awesome thing to think about. If God said it, that settles it. Y'all be blessed. Thank you.